Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Dreck in History. Today we turn our attentions to the Mayans, that great civilization that occupied the tropical lowlands of what is now Guatemala, reaching the peak of its power and influence around, let's scroll down, the 6th century AD. Today we're going to look at some of the art which was left behind by that ancient civilization. And here in this first image we can already see that unlike the Persians, the Babylonians, the Egyptians, most of what the Mayans left us was complete dreck. Here the lonely figure on the left of the picture, with what appears to be his cock hanging out over a bath towel, sparsely decorated with animal-like figures. What's he holding in his hands? They appear to be some kind of beans. Very unaesthetically arranged. One of the beans seems to be pointing at him, saying, "Look, I'm going into the pot because of you." Moving on, focusing on the football scarf dangling from the bench, draws our attention to the amateur composition of the whole picture. And why don't their hats fall off? Notice also that the artist hasn't even been bothered to colour in two of them. And speaking of hats, have a look at this abortion. Here, at least the hairnet seems physically able to be kept in place by the head as the Mayan citizen chugs back his chocolate. While on the left is something in a hat, and look at that hat. It's sort of perched on top of him there. Let's hope he doesn't move too quickly. Moving on to our last exhibit now, and if you thought those were bad, look at this. Again, a total lack of attention to detail, sloppy composition. I like the limited palette, I will go that far, but for fuck's sake, look at that guy's eye. I'm sure that if we examined skeletons from the era, we wouldn't find anybody with an eye that far down his cheek. I can only conclude that this artist didn't know how to draw. As you know, in this series, we're focusing on the dreck, not the good stuff. This, I imagine, would have been the Mayan equivalent of the middle-class drawing room's portrait, featuring a tennis player scratching her arse, or possibly a clown with a solitary tear running down his cheek. That kind of crap. Thank you for listening. Next week, we'll be investigating ancient China.